Hi everyone, Rose here. So in this webinar, I'm going to guide you through getting the best out of your seasons in Zedonk, just how they work, what you can use them for, and also a new season checklist that you can use to make sure that you're fully prepped and organized at the start of your new collection. So we're going to cover products, stock, ecom, and your warehouse as well. If you have any specific questions today, you can pop them in the chat, or remember you can always contact us via the help desk or at support@zedonk.co.uk. So before we start, just a quick reminder, as usual, that all of our webinars are recorded and will be uploaded to Zedonkopedia as well. The recordings can be played at a slower or faster playback rates and with closed captions enabled if you need them. So in part one today, I'll give you our tips and tricks for managing and organizing your seasons in Zedonk. I'll show you some examples of how you can use them for organizing sampling, production, and sales if you're not already. So hopefully you'll learn something new today. In part two, we'll dive a little bit deeper into managing your products and stock across multiple seasons. We'll look at carryover products as well as prepping your warehouse and ecom stock for the new collection or your new season. Then to finish off, we'll have a little look at some useful reports for your end of season wrap up and some tips and tricks for getting the data that you need. So one thing that we're really proud of here at Zedonk, and we like to remind you all the time of, is that we are an ERP built specifically for fashion, by people, from fashion. One of the things that makes us so unique is the fact that the system operates around seasons, meaning that you can split your products, inventory, materials, sales, and much more by the specific season that you're working in. So it just really allows you to keep your workflow organized and slick. Of course, though, we do know that every client is a bit different, and you therefore might want to use seasons in slightly different ways. So here on my screen, I have a few examples of different ways that you can set up and use your seasons in Zedonk. The first thing that you'll notice is that I'm splitting my seasons into sampling/development and main/production seasons. This allows me to log and report on sample and development products and costs separately, as well as managing progress and stock of samples separately to my main production run. When you finish your sampling and development stages, you can really easily make the products you're going ahead with visible in your main season and make any edits you need to. I'll explain a little bit more about this in the next part. So some other examples are my ecom or Shopify season. This basically allows me to handle my ecom stock separately to my wholesale. I can really easily ring fence stock needed for ecom, and can also connect my Shopify, if I have the Shopify connector, directly to the season that I'm using to ring fence my ecom stock, which just makes sure that none of my wholesale stock is going to get into the mix, unless, of course, I want it to, in which case I can always move over the stock from one season to another. If you're using the V3 Shopify connector, you can also set up a dedicated Shopify order import season, which basically allows you to report on your ecom sales and profit in Zedonk, again, completely separately to your wholesale. So I have a few extras here as well, like a core or never out of stock season, where I might want to move, for example, leftover stock at the end of each season into, just to keep for reference so I know what I have left over. Maybe at some point in the future I want to use it for a sample sale or something along those lines. And I also have as cross-seasonal order season. So in the case where I have a customer, for example, who wants to place an order containing products for multiple seasons, I can create these in one consolidated order and move the stock over into this season only as and when I need to. So before I move on, it's a good opportunity also to remind you here, especially at the start of the new season, just to make sure that all of your seasons are correctly ordered and linked. Each season in your list here should have the previous season set to the one directly above it in the list, or the season chronologically before this in reality. This just allows different costs of materials and products season on season to pull through correctly into the correct order. Now, let's move on to looking at your products and stock in a little bit more detail. So the first tool to review, and will be your best friend when you're setting up the new season, is your Set Season Visibility tool. I'm sure you've all seen this before, but it's good to just review and demo here. So we can use this both for carryover products and for bringing your sampling products into your main production season. So as you can see at the moment, I'm in my autumn-winter 24 development sampling season. I also have my autumn-winter 24 main production season, but I'm using these two different seasons to just kind of keep track of my development and sampling and my main and production separately. So the progress of those, the samples, the different things that might change during the development stage, and your costs as well. So for example, if we look at my product costings in my development season, I've created this sample product here. I've given it a product ID and a fabric and a color as normal. But some of this information, you know, it might be quite different between this season and the final sort of production sample. So yeah, you know, you can fill everything out as normal. I've got my raw materials, my costs, everything that I need to know about this product I have here. What you'll also notice about this product is that I'm using versioning with this. So you can see in the top left-hand side of the screen, I have this marked as V1. On this page, we can see all the product categories are versioned, and also the active and withdrawn status, that's also versioned. The default manufacturer is also a version field, so we can have different default manufacturers depending on which season you're working in. For example, you know, I might have a different manufacturer that I want to use for my main production run. And I can set which one is default in this season. So maybe for the development sample products, I was using London Tailorings to manufacture. But maybe, you know, in my main production season, I'm going to be using a different manufacturer. So I can add that there. I can leave this one as default. And when we click on this V symbol in the top left-hand side, we can see I only have one version at the moment, and it's assigned to the season that I'm currently working in, which is my development/sampling season. So I'll just save the changes that I made. So now in the scenario where you're moving into your main production season, we'll first of all switch into that season, and we'll go to our product costings. We'll see at the moment, because this is a brand new season, there's nothing visible here. So the first thing that we'll want to do is use our set season visibility tool to bring that product through into the new season. So from the drop-down menu on the top left, I'll go to set season visibility. You can filter your view here. So automatically Zedonk is going to show you all of your products in all of your seasons. But for example, if I just wanted to check some products that I had in my development sampling season, I can click here. And I can see that that's showing me my sample product I created. Obviously, you might have a few more sample products that you want to bring through, but if that's the one, then I can just really simply tick visible. It's an automatic save, as it says here. So then if I have ticked that and I go back to my product costings, I can see that sample product is here for me to edit. So what I want to do is I want to leave V1 as is, because I want to be able to report on V1 as the sample product. So what I'm going to do is add a new version. So using that version and drop-down menu, I'm going to click new version. We'll make it a, so you can see here I have a few different options that I've added into my system. I've got V1, 2, and 3. These maybe I want to use for carryover products that haven't undergone a lot of changes, but I just want to keep them as different versions. I also have some options like proto sample, development sample, and production sample. So for example, if I wanted to create this version as a production sample, I can select this and click create. And here we go, that's been made. And now I can start to edit the version fields. So if I wanted to change any of these product categories, for example, if the sample products, maybe I didn't know what category it was going to be for 3, but I can add that in now. It will only affect the current version, the production sample that I'm working with. So let's do casual wear. If I know that it's going to be a seasonal style versus a carryover or a core, for example, so I can add in these extra fields and it won't affect my V1 sample. Okay, so as I said before, we can also change the default manufacturer for this season. So because I'm in a different season to my sampling/development, I can now change the default manufacturer. So I can select the one that I'm going to be using. I can click as default. I can add in my make costs here. any other information. So again, the lead times, minimums, internal comments, these are all versions. So these can be different to what I have applied to my, my first sample. Things like customs data, so textile content, country of origin, that can also be different. And also your raw materials. So if anything here has changed, for example, maybe in the development process, I realized that actually this only takes 1.3 meters of fabric versus 1.5. I can edit that here. And maybe for the final sample, I wanted to add something extra like the swing tags and the labels, things that might not have been on that first initial sample. There we go. So I'll just add in 1 unit of that and 1 unit of that. Costs as well. So costs have always been able to be different depending on the season of the product. But yeah, obviously if that changes, then you can edit that there. And I can also add in my wholesale and retail prices as well. So the next thing I might want to change now that I have my final version in this season is the image of the product. So I can remove that as normal and I can drag and drop in the final image of this product. Here we go. And yeah, if there's anything else you need to add in or change, you can do that for the new version. And once you're ready, you can hit save. So then if I go back and if I click the versioning drop-down menu, I can see which versions I have assigned to this product and which one also is active in this season. So I can see my production sample is assigned to this season that I'm working in, which is my production season. So I'm happy with that. I can go back home. I can switch to my development and sampling season, go take a look at the same product. And I can see that the version 1, so the sample version of this product, is assigned to this season still. So I can view all of the different information here. I can see the first version's raw materials as they were before. I can see the manufacturer in this season has stayed as it was before. All the costs, the pricing and things like that. But if I go and switch to the next season and take a look at the same product, the information is different as I edited this just a minute ago. So yeah, you can bulk edit versions here as well. There's a few different things that you can do. I'd suggest just kind of having a look at these when you have some time. You also have a really handy feature where you can compare versions. So you can see this button on the right hand side. We can click to compare our production sample to our V1 sample. So you can see exactly what the differences are between the two different versions of the products, which is really helpful. We can also click to show the BOMs if we want to see the differences in the materials used in both samples. So yeah, this is really useful as well. And that's it. So that's how to bring a sample product into a final production sample or a final product that is approved for sale in your new season. You can even make another version of this if you want to, and you can always change the version that is assigned to the season. So there's lots of options for you there. The other thing that you might want to do at this point, of course, is bring over some of your carryover products into the new season. So to do that, we're going to use exactly the same method. I'll go to my set season visibility. Now, what I might want to do in this case is actually switch my view to view all seasons if I want to bring some products through from different seasons. Or what I might want to do, for example, is because I'm working in autumn winter 24, I might want to look at what I have in autumn winter 23 and bring some products through from there. So maybe, I want to rerun these two here as carryover products. And so I can tick them as normal. Go back to product costings. I can see that they're there now. So they're ready to use in my new season. And again, if I wanted to create a new version, maybe this was the autumn winter 23 version, but I want to create a slightly different version for my new season. Maybe I want to edit some of the raw materials again or something like that. You can use versioning to change any information that you need related to this product. Again, maybe the default manufacturer has changed for this new season and I want to make that the default. So again, you can use versioning for a variety of reasons, but it's a really useful thing to know about, as well as your set season visibility tool. Now, if you have a lot of carryover products and you're planning on selling all of the stock that you have left over from last season, you can also move the stock and set the season visibility at the same time using a newish feature called Move Stock from Another Season. So to do this, you'll go into the season that you want to move stock into. Of course, this will usually be your newest season. Choose the season you're moving stock from, and you can choose to either autofill from your closing stock or from your available stock, whichever you prefer. When you're happy, click to either move or copy the stock from your old season into your new one. You can at the same time, if you want to, make these products visible in the new season, so then you don't need to do this separately if you need to move the stock and make them visible at the same time. Of course, if you want to go ahead with this method, and especially if you have a warehouse, what you might want to do prior to this is conduct a stock count first, just to ensure that everything is correct before you set the stock in your new season. So we have a couple of ways to do this. The first one is really, really easy and could be done by yourselves or can actually be done by your warehouse with a barcode scanner if they have one of these. To do this, go to your product stock inventory. From the top right-hand side, click Stock Check. If you don't see this, you'll just need to update your system permissions to use it. It's available to everyone, but you might just need your permissions to view it. Once you're here, click Start or Continue if you've already started a stock check. You can either enter the quantities manually here in the list view, or you can click the scanner button on the top right-hand side to fill in quantities using your scanner. The other way, if you prefer, is to download our stock count CSV template. You can get this from the drop-down menu on the left-hand side in your main list view. You can just fill in your updated stock levels and simply import this back into Zedonk once you've edited your file. Both methods will update your closing stock to the current amounts and will allow you to have that peace of mind that everything is up to date and correct for your new season. Once all of your new products are added into your new season, the next thing you want to do to get these prepped for your warehouse, ecom, and B2B connectors is, of course, apply barcodes. This can be done at the click of a button in your barcodes module. Again, you've probably seen this before, but just to double check. So you'll simply go into here. Once you're here, go to your settings button. Just make sure that your start and end number, so your barcode range, are up to date with your newest barcodes. Tick the season that you want to apply barcodes to and hit save. Zedonk will do the rest for you, so it will generate those barcodes and apply them in that one click of a button. Lastly, if you have a Shopify connector, you'll of course just want to make sure that all of your new products are added to your catalog and are set to exportable. Then to ensure that either your settings are updated for the new season or that your ecom stock is moved into your Shopify season. This can really easily be done, again, using that function called Move Stock from Another Season. Remember as well, if you are using the product export to create your products in Shopify from Zedonk, you'll just need to ensure at this point that any older products in older seasons in your catalog are temporarily set to non-exportable. This will just make sure that no older product data in Shopify will be overwritten and your changes made in Shopify will stay as they are currently. Once the new products are exported, you can go ahead and make the entire catalog exportable again if you need to. So if you are one of our clients who uses a WMS or warehouse connector, of course, once all of your new products are added to your new season, the other thing that you'll want to do is perform a product export just to get all of that product data sent over to your warehouse. That's really simple. So you'll go to your connectors area, you'll go to your warehouse connector, go to your settings. First of all, just ensure that the product export is ticked for the new season. And also import adjustments is ticked if you work that way. So we'll just tick those two and we'll hit save. Then we can move on to our actions. And in the list of actions, you'll see your product export task. So you just need to click this. Once you're ready, click the product export, and that will send all of your products in your new season over to your warehouse. One thing that you might want to review at the end of a season or the start of a new one is your costs and your sales. Many of these can be compared season on season and to help you plan and forecast for your new collection as well. If you'd like to review your cost for a product, for example, over a period of time or for a few seasons, you can easily review this in your product costings tab. So to do this, go to your product costing, go into your seasons tab, and here you can view in one simple list how your costs have changed season on season. So really helpful for that forecasting in the new one. If you'd like to review some extra details or export this as an Excel file, you can also compare many aspects of cost using your reports module. For example, if I go into my reports module now, maybe I want to look at my materials and manufacturing costs for my write-in jacket, for example, over a few seasons. So once I'm in reports, I can go to products, then product, look at something like my cost summary. So here I can just select the seasons I want to compare, and I can filter it down to the exact product that I want to view the cost for. And of course, in relation to this, some of the most important reporting that we can do at the end of a season is on our sales. We have plenty here to choose from, such as our best sellers, gross profit, or if you want extensive information, you can always run our full order product size and apply any customization or filters that you need to slim this report down to exactly what you need to view. If you're using our Shopify V2 or V3 connector, remember you can also use Zedonk to report on your ecom sales easily. And you can also separate this data out from your wholesale income and by certain dates if you need to as well. And the last thing to mention here to keep your reports clean and organized is just to review your scheduled and custom reports at the end of each season. So here you can set up your new season schedule for things like inventory. That's a really useful one. So you can get an overview of what your inventory is looking like once a week, for example. And remember, if there are any old ones here that you don't need anymore, you can always go in and delete them by clicking into the schedule and clicking delete, or for a custom report by clicking the customize button and then clicking the delete button. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this webinar. As always, we hope you found this useful, and remember to check our full bank of webinars on so many other subjects via Zedonkopedia. They're always there for you to view whenever you need them. And just a reminder, if you have any specific questions about today, you can always submit a help desk ticket from the Ask Us button in the top right-hand side of your Zedonk, and you can always email us at support@zedonk.co.uk. See you in the next webinar, guys. Bye.